Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome back to my channel. It is day 7 in the 100-day challenge. And as promised yesterday, it is a continuation of the mark making that I've been doing for the last couple of days. Now, what I'm trying to putz around with these lights. Anyway, what I'm showing you here are another style of stamp that I've created myself. And I don't know, I mean, I did this a long time ago, and I don't know why I don't seem to have used them. So clearly that will be remedied today. So this is what I'm talking about. Now, what I used here, I very skillfully cut these arrowheads, boomerang shapes, whatever you want to call this, out of something called foam sheets. Now this is obviously a package of, this is a small size package, probably, yeah, 4x6, 40 in here, paid $1.99 at, I guess, the thrift store. Easy to cut with scissors, easy to draw on with a pencil or a pen. I know it also comes in bigger sheets, probably 8x10s or 9x12s or something like that. So I drew out the shape, cut out the shape, and then using Fabrifix, glued it to a sturdier piece of packaging. So, you know, those where you almost make yourself bleed when you're trying to cut into a package of whatever, because the plastic is so sharp. So that's that. I used, in my little sample here, I used Mulberry Archival ink by Ranger. The top section was, you know, wet. The second one was sort of the second print. So that's that one. This one I see is on thinner acetate, and it's kind of petal or leaf shapes. And now, because this has some flexibility to it, and I can't remember if I did it or not, I think another way maybe to get better contact is to use a brayer or a rolling pin or whatever you might have handy to make sure that all of the surfaces make the same amount of contact. However, it's interesting when it doesn't. And then this too was the sort of the second printing without re-inking in between. Now I have several more. Oh, looks like I made another one of these. Oh, I know what it was. I gave my daughter a set of these to use, and she didn't, so I got them back. Oh, here's one that I've obviously used before, and these are sort of like paving stones. So let's just try another one of these. Let's try, just for the heck of it, to say we did, let's try this Distress Oxide. It is so, the angle of the sun is right in my eye. So I find I'm sort of squinting. I'm almost blinded by the light. Maybe not the handiest thing to ink, to be honest, because again, it's flexible. I wanted to make it kind of a bigger size so that if a person was using this to you know, for background or collage fodder or whatever, you know, you don't have to ink it 100 times to cover a surface. Now this one is Distress Oxide Peacock Feathers. Now I have these plastic, or well, I don't know what they are, plastic or silicone or something, things on my desk just to protect my mat a bit. So you can see I'm trying to make contact with each of the little components of the stamp. Maybe I should peek under there. Oh, see, that's nice. Let's see what happens if I brayer. Kind of darkens it, but where, you know, and I probably didn't exactly get it totally inked because number one, it's hard for me to see, and number two, it's not that easy to do. Let's do a second print and see what we get. But I like that sort of variegated look because it adds even more interest. Yeah, see, I could do a whole patio like this. So there's that. So we know that we know that the archival ink works. We know that the Distress Oxide works. I'll not stamp every single thing that I have made here, but I will show you that I also did a couple different feathers. Because again, it's a very simple thing. You don't need to be very talented at all to be able to do these shapes. And then I'll show you the other ones. But let's just try this for a moment. So then I've got this Versamark. Oh, I should have checked. I should have checked what I was grabbing. Oh, you know what? The other day I was talking about this one, ombre ink pad. Could use a little cleaning. It gives a really nice effect because of course it looks as though, oh, did I manage to? Yeah, I've got some wet ones here that are all dried up. Isn't that great? This has never been re-inked and it's still so lovely and juicy. So let's try this one on the feather. I'm going to be a total mess by the time this is over. I don't know if these types of ink pads are still available or not. One of the things that I mentioned the other day in the video, and one of a good reason, moved it. One of the good reasons to create your own stamps is then the image becomes your own. And you can do what you will with it. And like I said, anyone can do a feather. Let's try this other. And you can see by the, you can see by the odd shape of this acetate that I was just using scraps and maximizing the number of stamps that I could get out of a particular piece. Yoy, what a mess. Now dare I try to do this again? Okay, so that was on the orange. Yeah, I don't know why some of that didn't pick up any color. As I'm doing this, it occurs to me. Okay, two things occur to me. This stamp pad is a lot softer Well, let's just do it and see what happens. So there's more give. So when I press down on it, obviously that's why I'm getting so much ink around the actual stamp. But it also occurs to me that that foam is so cheap that I could also, excuse me, double up 2 or 3 sheets of it, glue them together, then cut out my design. And if the stamp itself was thicker, there'd be less, ink sort of getting onto the acetate as opposed to just on the foam part. Yeah, I don't know why this part didn't take, but again, it's not the worst thing in the world. Let's try to just press down a little harder there. Yeah, see, that's better. Okay, so maybe that's, everyone knows how to stamp. So I'll just show you some of the other designs that I've cut. So I've got triangles. I've got more paving stones, but again, this is probably something that one of those I made up for my daughter as well. This diamond sort of argyle thing. These are just rectilinear shapes. A little streetscape. I should try that one. Again, more, same sort of thing, but on a larger scale. More petals. And these are, I don't know, what are those, trapezoids? Parallelograms? I don't know. This is like a quiz here of some sort. I do want to show you, maybe before I totally put these away. So obviously this was just, I can't even tell if it's cream or white. Anyway, just printer paper. This is a lovely book page. And in case you're wondering, thinking, oh my God, that is so beautiful. Where did she ever find it? Let me tell you. It is the Canadian National Record for swine. So the book is just oh, I didn't realize that there were pages like this, but just basically this very text dense pages that are just like perfect. So this would say who some of the breeders are and their addresses. Huh, cool. Anyway, this isn't a book video. Stop it. Okay, so this, let's try the houses, or let's try a few more of these. Okay, so what else did I bring here? Oh, I've got stays on in purple. I don't know which is better, to do it this way. Yeah, probably a combination of techniques will get it inked up a little better. Okay, that should, oh, kind of stinky. That should be good here. Again, I could use the brayer to make, even contact, but I almost think I like it better when it's a little patchy because it looks more artsy-fartsy. Cool. Those almost look like windows. Now I suppose if I hadn't glued these down, I could have cut some windows and door openings in them. Yeah, nice. Let us try. This is Archival Ink Night Sky. I have to keep remembering to go left, because that's where the actual lens is on my phone. Oh, why am I doing that? Counterintuitive for a right-handed person to go left. And I would think for something like this, you know, some of those cheaper off-brand ink pads would work just as well. One thing I've never tried is just sort of those office type ink pads for, you know, the businesses use with their stamps if they don't have an automatic re-inking stamp. So I guess these marks at the back were my attempt to have some symmetry to these diamonds. But again, imperfect enough to know that, hey, no factory in China made that. It was a crafter in the Canadian prairies who made that with their own little hands. Yeah, nice. What would happen? That would be cool with the second color. Nice. Again, great collage fodder. Okay, I won't bother doing this. So there are those. Now again, you're probably beginning, if you've watched me at all, you're beginning to understand that, you know, sometimes I take this reusing to the point of the ridiculous. So these are bigger yet, more paving stones, more rectilinear shapes. But this, do you recognize it? Do you recognize it? It's this sort of waste product when you buy a set of stamps. Ugh. And I have to go out this afternoon. So am I going to throw this out? No, I'm not. So where the shape, where it's a big enough area, you know, you can get a paving stone out of that. You cut that off there, you've got a long strip like that. But goofier yet, I've cut off these little corners and made all these sort of L-shaped things. So, you know, there are these supplies all around us just for the taking. Now, one thing that I wanted to do before we wind up today, oh, I should show you one other thing, but I'm going to do that last because I would need to go and do some cleanup. So we know that this ombre ink worked, StazOn worked, archival ink, distress oxide, all of these sorts of things have worked. But what about acrylic paint? Now we know that that should very clearly work as well. I just got this piece of dyed, what do you call it, ledger. I have a piece of parchment here to just make a temporary little palette. I've got some acrylic paint. This is spun gold. Pour a bit of this out. And I'm going to use my brayer. I'm going to use my brayer, say, on this. Oh, you know what might have been better than this? Is pulling out the gel plate. Let me put that aside and go to plan B. I also have several of these corrugated cardboard things that I made as stamps. Okay, this one has been used before. Let's try this. So basically, we're getting some ink, not ink, paint, acrylic paint on the let me not get this all dirty. Again, you probably can't see a darn thing that I'm doing because I'm way over to the right. Okay, so I'm using some acrylic paint on this corrugated cardboard to create to do some stamping. Pretty subtle, but that's okay. Sometimes that's exactly what we want. This paint is cheap. It's not, you know, like I wouldn't suggest that you use your $40 pigment, you know, Golden Brand or whatever. Yeah, this parchment paper doesn't make a great palette, to be honest. Gel plate would be much better. Let's try this one. This one looks interesting. Let's see what we get here. Let me stand on my head to do this, okay? I should have probably picked a more vibrant color, but I thought gold would be kind of a nice neutral and kind of tone on tone with coffee or tea or whatever that is. That's pretty nice too. Let's see if I can, there isn't a lot of this paint left on the parchment. And the beauty of this is that as this cardboard gets coated with paint, all it does is serve to strengthen your stamp. Okay, that wasn't enough. Nice. So you can see that this would make a great background design on a page that you wanted to collage. So I'm going to have to stop here because this needs to be cleaned up. I will obviously let this dry and let it become something. Maybe I can go to the end. But I do want to get this brayer cleaned before it dries like concrete on there. So I hope that you have seen enough ideas in the last 2 or 3 days to get you wanting to make your own stamps. It's very satisfying. I'll just lay out some of these things. The nice thing about acrylic paint, it dries so quickly, so it's not like you're having to wait forever or use a heat gun to get on to the next step. Now the trick, of course, is to, like with something like this, obviously I would have kind of had some straight lines to guide me. And it's to use, I guess, a gentle touch. In this case, I've got a circle, but if I wasn't careful, I could have, gouged into that with my knife. So this is more raggedy and more like what we're used to getting when we are, when we're trying to get corrugated cardboard, say, to use as a base on a journal cover or something like that. There's that. There's this that's kind of more organic looking. Cardboard also, some is more rigid. Some is thicker than others. So again, this one feels really solid. There's no shortage of this stuff out there. So I hope you're encouraged to track down some cardboard, use the waste product on some stamp sets that you may have purchased, like so, and of course using these foam sheets as well on some acetate to create these lovely things. So I would say your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to make some of your own stamps, and find the joy in that. I am going to stop here. Join me again tomorrow for whatever day it'll be in the 100-day challenge. And again, I strongly urge you to try to take on a creative project of your own that will get your motor humming. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.